Chapter 135. After Qing Xiuqin finished bragging, he seemed to have thought of something and his face darkened. No, I only let the dogs bite them. It's not enough to appease my hatred. Look at who was the one who begged us to marry our daughter to him. Now, look at what happened. We're the ones who won't let him go and want to climb up to him. Even if we can't be husband and wife, we can still be friends. Pfft, this family is really shameless. What? Mr. Su was still upset that his daughter only praised his wife and not him. When he heard this, he couldn't be bothered to be jealous. He was about to walk out with a dark face when Su Yiyan pulled him back. Dad, where are you going? I'm going to chase them back. Chase them back? Su Yiyan blinked and looked curious. And then? Beat them up. Pfft. Su Yiyan was amused by her father's straightforward words. Forget it, forget it. Beating trash like them will only dirty your hands. Although she said that, Mr. Su was still a little indignant. Su Yiyan saw this and smiled slightly. She took the initiative to hug Mr. Su's hand and comforted him. Also, I've already taught Hua Xiaofeng a lesson. Didn't you hear what they said? Hua Xiaofeng is still lying in the hospital and can't get out. Today, they suffered at your hands. They probably won't be able to cause any trouble for a while. Qin Shueru came out late and missed the first part of the show. When she heard Mr. Su's words, she was still a little suspicious. Yan, did you really beat him up? Did you hit him hard? Could it be that this family exaggerated their son's injuries in order to blackmail us? With Qin Shueru's reminder, Qing Xiuqin and Qing Xiuqin came back to their senses and turned to look at Su Yiyan questioningly. Su Yiyan smiled and said gloatingly, "They're not lying this time. That day, I beat Hua Xiaofeng up quite badly. His face is needless to say. The main thing is, that place. I kicked him a few times. I don't know if his balls are broken." Everyone present, after a suffocating silence, Mr. Su turned his face away uncomfortably. He refused to think about how tragic Hua Xiaofeng's situation was. Qin Shueru and Qin Shueru blushed. They were embarrassed and relieved at the same time. He deserved it. Towards this kind of scum who still went out to fool around even though he already had a fiancée, he should be kicked until he couldn't take care of himself for the rest of his life. The two of them were not the only ones who had such thoughts. When old Master Qing heard the words that Su Yiyan had asked Qin Shueru to convey, his face turned ashen and his anger soared. He almost rushed out to beat up the couple without caring about anything else. Yan didn't do anything wrong. People who think too highly of themselves and think that they can humiliate others just because they have a good family background should be taught a lesson so that they won't harm others in the future. This couple was really stupid. Their son had done such a thing, yet they still had the face to come here. Did they really think that we would forgive them just because they apologized? This family Hua is rotten to the core. It's hopeless. When Su Yiyan heard the first part of the conversation, she hurriedly nodded in agreement. However, when she heard the last part, she couldn't accept it. "Grandpa, you can't overturn the whole boat with one pole. That Hua Xiaofeng's family is indeed a weirdo, but my fiancé is a good person." Old Master Qing instantly choked. He looked at his precious granddaughter, who was consciously defending her fiancé's reputation and talking back to him with righteous words. He immediately muttered to himself, "You're not even married yet, but you already know how to side with outsiders. How am I siding with outsiders? Once we get married, we'll be a family. I'm clearly siding with them." Chapter 136. The visit of the two elders of the family Hua ended with the two men being chased by dogs all the way. After that, Qing Xiuqin seemed to feel that it was not enough to vent his anger, so he called the security guard of the residential area to complain. How big of a hidden danger was it to the safety of the residential area to let strangers in without the permission of the residents? What if the person who sneaked in was a psychopath or a murderer? Wouldn't it endanger the safety of the residents? When the security guard received the complaint call, he subconsciously glanced at the two men who were besieged by 4 dogs not far away. The corners of his mouth twitched slightly, and he secretly complained, "It's not certain whose safety this will endanger." However, in line with the principle of customer first and the fact that he was indeed responsible for this matter, the security guard asked a passerby for a video of Hua Qihan and his wife being bitten by dogs and sent it to Qingshuoqin. The 4 dogs that Mr. Su had borrowed were all hounds that had been carefully trained by their owner. They were disciplined and would not easily hurt people without their owner's permission. Therefore, although these dogs had pounced on Hua Qihan and his wife at first, they did not hurt them. They just kept biting their skirts and clothes. The dogs, which were half the height of a person, were strong and almost as strong as an adult man. The 2 dogs tugged at Hua Qihan's trouser legs from both sides. Hua Qihan couldn't break free at all. With a tearing sound, his belt was torn, and a small part of his trouser was pulled down, revealing his somewhat funny natal year underwear. At that time, there were several people around, and they could not help but laugh when they saw this. The few people who sympathized with him did not dare to go forward and challenge the power of these dogs. They could only stand by and watch this farce sympathetically and helplessly. Hua Qihan had lived for more than 40 years and had never been so humiliated. In a fit of anger, he kicked the dog closest to him. The dog did not hurt people because of its owner's instructions. Otherwise, Hua Qihan and his wife would have been torn apart by it. Hua Qihan's kick hurt the dog, and it became angry. It no longer followed the rules and opened its bloody mouth to bite Hua Qihan's fleshy buttocks. Ha 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 ha. I'm dying of laughter, I'm dying of laughter. How delightful, how delightful. Who asked them to bully others? This is great. If someone posts it on the public platform, their family will become famous. Ha 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 ha. Qingshuoqin watched the scene in the video and laughed. Mr. Su watched from the side. Although he felt happy, he still frowned and covered Qingshuoqin's eyes. Hey, what are you doing? Why are you covering my eyes? Don't look. You'll get a pinprick. His wife was looking at another man in front of him. Although it was pardonable, Mr. Su couldn't help but feel jealous. Qingshuoqin. She wasn't a child, why would she have needle eyes? Su Yiyan chuckled when she heard her father's sour complaint. This is something worth keeping as a souvenir. Mom, send me a copy later. Before Su Yiyan's father could say anything, old Master Cheng had already reprimanded her. Nonsense. You're an unmarried girl. How can you keep such a thing? All right, whatever you say, then. Chapter 137. Su Yiyan's action of opening the door suddenly paused, and her eyes widened unconsciously. She finally remembered what she had forgotten. When the commotion broke out downstairs, Su Yiyan was in the middle of a video call with Hua Chenhuan. Considering that the relationship between Hua Chenhuan and Hua Qihan's family was not very good, she wanted to take some people downstairs to watch the commotion. However, she bumped into old Master Cheng as soon as she went downstairs. In order to prevent old Master Cheng from finding out that she was in the middle of a video call with Hua Chenhuan, he would accuse Hua Chenhuan of seducing an innocent, ignorant girl with glib words. Su Yiyan secretly clipped the camera to her jacket pocket so that Hua Chenhuan could see everything that was happening outside through the small camera. Later, Hua Qihan suddenly mentioned that she had hit Hua Xiaofeng. Su Yiyan's head was hot and she was so focused on how to get rid of those 2 eyesores that she forgot that she was still connected to Hua Chenhuan. Everything else was fine, but what she had just said to her grandfather, wouldn't Hua Chenhuan, Hua Chenhuan looked at Su Yiyan's flushed face and smiled slightly. She said meaningfully, why are you panicking? Are you afraid that I'll hear something that I shouldn't? It would have been better if Hua Chenhuan had not said anything. Now that she said it, Su Yiyan's face turned even redder. This fellow was simply asking the obvious. Su Yiyan did not want to continue this topic with him. She glared at him angrily and said awkwardly, where's Dun Dun? I think I heard its voice just now. How could Hua Chenhuan not understand Su Yiyan's thoughts? She followed her words and turned the camera. Su Yiyan took a closer look and saw that the familiar but was facing away from her and shaking. In front of it was a beautiful flower wall. Judging from this scene, it should be in Hua Chenhuan's garden. What's wrong with it? It knows that its owner has a new dog, so it's preparing to run away from home. Running away from home? Su Yiyan tilted her head in confusion. What kind of running away from home is this? It's more like facing the wall to reflect. Hua Chenhuan smiled and explained, there's a hole in the corner of the wall. It wanted to crawl out from there, but it got stuck. Su Yiyan. Are you trying to say that it's too fat? That's right. Why did it have to crawl through a hole? Did it think it was a mole? Well, it's stuck. If Dun Dun knew what Su Yiyan was thinking, he would definitely roll his eyes at her. How could a runaway swagger through the door? It had always been a very ritualistic dog. Of course, it had to sneak out through a hole when it ran away from home. Unfortunately, no matter how ritualistic it was, it misjudged its size and got stuck as soon as it found a hole to crawl into. In the end, it could only be pulled out of the hole with the help of Hua Chenhuan and completely shut itself in. Su Yiyan finally got the video of Hua Qihan and his wife being bitten by the dog. She even forwarded it to Hua Chenhuan and said proudly, after all this fuss, it's still in my hands. You see, they came to my house today and made a scene. If this video is released, I'm afraid their family will become the laughing stock of the upper-class circle. Ha 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 ha. After watching the video, Hua Chenhuan calmly clicked to save it and then said in the same sour tone as Mr. Su, I'll save it for you. You can delete it. Su Yiyan's laughter stopped abruptly and she looked at him in confusion. Chapter 138. This familiar argument made Su Yiyan laugh. She raised her eyebrows and joked, really? Then I won't watch it in the future. Hua Chenhuan was relieved. Okay. But I really want to see yours. Can't I? Hua Chenhuan was stunned. Her usually serious face turned red from her cheeks to her neck at a speed visible to the naked eye. Su Yiyan threw herself into the blanket and laughed hysterically. She laughed until Hua Chenhuan was about to fly into a rage out of humiliation. She coughed lightly and said, okay, I won't joke with you anymore. Since you want to delete it, then delete it. But you have to save it for me. If they dare to come and disturb my parents in the future, I'll buy an advertising space in the central square and broadcast this video 24 hours a day. I'll make them a complete laughingstock. Okay. Dun Dun, help me comfort it. I am still very loyal. There is no other dog except for it. My dad has just sent the 4 dogs back. Okay. I still have to cook, so I'll leave first. I'll contact you later. Okay. Su Yiyan was about to end the video call when Hua Chenhuan suddenly shouted, wait. Huh? Is there anything else? Hua Chenhuan lowered her head slightly and said without rhyme or reason, mine can, but not others. Huh? Before Su Yiyan could react, she ended the video call as quickly as possible. Su Yiyan was stunned for a few seconds before she realized what Hua Chenhuan meant. She threw her head back into the soft quilt and used the quilt to hide her uncontrollable laughter. How could this guy be so cute? On the other side, Hua Chenhuan, who had unilaterally cut off the communication, spent a long time trying to reduce the heat on her face. She looked at the video in her hand and her eyes sharpened. She turned to contact Zui Yanbai. Young master. Hua Qihan has been too idle recently. Find something for him to do. Zui Yanbai was stunned. She expected that Hua Qihan's family might have done something to upset their young master. She was not stupid enough to provoke Hua Chenhuan at this time. She simply replied, yes. After ending the call, Hua Chenhuan's expression darkened. His eyes had regained their sharpness, and they were deep and dangerous. A few unpresentable bedbugs were jumping around like grasshoppers after autumn. His patience was about to be worn out. It seemed that his plan had to be brought forward. Since Su Yiyan promised Ning Siyuan to help treat Ning Chirue, she had already drafted a short-term medicinal diet list on the way back from the hospital. Other than that, Su Yayan had to continue to help her aunt recuperate. Therefore, the general direction of the live stream that afternoon was more or less the same. However, when Su Yayan prepared the materials and turned on the live broadcast, she found that something was wrong. The number of people waiting in her live broadcast room had doubled from the last time. Many new viewers seemed to have bad intentions. It's finally live broadcast. I thought this plagiarist was too scared to come online. She has already been torn apart by the host, but she still came online as if nothing had happened. Shameless people are invincible. Rubbish host, your face is as big as a basin. I'm going to vomit. Don't. Maybe she's here to apologize. After all, the host has already taken action. Unacceptable. Plagiarist, get out of here. Chapter 139. As soon as Su Yiyan's words came out, the bullet screen became even fiercer. Fortunately, there were still some of her true fans. When they heard her ask, they replied to her immediately. The girl who had been selected before, Xia Yoshi, even sent her a private message with a link. Su Yiyan clicked on it and saw a long article. To be precise, it was a long statement. As soon as Su Yiyan saw the owner's ID, she roughly guessed the whole story. Her live broadcast popularity on Chonghua Network was getting higher and higher. When Jinping finally couldn't hold back and came to suppress her, Su Yiyan read the statement as fast as she could. The summary was, I've been participating in the talent show recently and haven't paid attention to the situation in the live broadcast room. I've missed a lot of news. Today, the program team finally had a break. She could finally go online and see the fans' private messages. She knew that someone plagiarized her on the website and became popular. After that, there was a bitter and hateful confession, emphasizing that the dishes she made in the live broadcast room were from her family's recipes. She wanted to use them to benefit the public, but she didn't expect that they would be used for plagiarism. She didn't intend to pursue the responsibility of the plagiarist, but she also asked her to consciously stop this hurtful behavior and stop using it to make money. After reading the whole article, the familiar White Lotus aura came straight to her. Although she didn't directly say the name of Su Yiyan's live broadcast room, on the same website, the food channel, she was the only one who suddenly became popular recently. People with a little investigation would find out. The most brilliant thing was that she didn't mention the dishes that Su Yiyan made in the live broadcast room. She directly concluded that the dishes that Su Yiyan made in the live broadcast room were plagiarized. She also used her family's recipes to support her statement. She played the good relationship card. People who didn't know the truth would subconsciously lean towards the weak when they saw this statement. They would think that she was so kind and unpretentious but was still bullied. The person who bullied her was too hateful. The preconceived impression was very bad. With this subconscious thought, who would care about the truth of the matter? At that time, they would hire a group of paid posters to mix in with the passers-by to stir up trouble. They would not need any evidence, and they would be able to convict Su Yiyan verbally. The people who flooded the screen in his live broadcast room were either the water army or brainless, righteous people, who had been instigated by Wen Jinping. Su Yiyan's eyes darkened slightly as he sneered. It seems that someone's skin is really thicker than the city walls. He has encircled onlooker and even the gourmet circle as his own territory. Is the housekeeper here? You can give him a title now. Hua Chenhuan had also just logged in. As soon as he entered the live stream, he saw those annoying comments. His face darkened. Even if Su Yiyan did not say anything, he would have already started to ban his account. Wen Jinping had quite a number of fans. Recently, she had also attracted some fans from participating in the talent show. Coupled with the group of ghostwriters, the number of fans was quite large. If it were any other live broadcast room, even if there was a housekeeper, it would be impossible to ban so many people. It was inevitable that the live broadcast would be messed up. Some new anchors had strength in the early stages but no money or background. When they ran into those famous anchors who used this method to mess with them, they could only admit that they were unlucky and be ridiculed. But this time, these people were destined to kick an iron plate. Chapter 140. Therefore, on that day, the technical departments of all the companies under which Xinhuan's name received an urgent order. They were to act as external aid for a little-known food streamer on Onlooker Web. They were to investigate and ban the IP addresses of the Water Army. This is too much of a waste of talent. A straightforward technician could not help but mutter softly. Although he spoke softly, there was not even the sound of the keyboard in the room. As soon as he spoke, most of the people in the room heard him. In an instant, the atmosphere in the room became a little awkward. Although the others did not say anything, it was obvious from their expressions that they had the same thoughts as this colleague. They felt that it was too much of a waste of talent to ask them to do such a thing. Yuzian saw through their thoughts and chuckled. From our boss's point of view, anything related to the lady boss is never a small matter. Do you understand? Like a stone that caused 1,000 ripples, the people who were silently lowering their heads to hide their dissatisfaction were shocked and started whispering to each other. Lady boss? When did the boss get married? I've never heard of it. Our boss has never shown his face in all these years. I'm afraid you don't even know what the boss looks like. How would you know if he's married or not? So, the streamer in this live broadcast room is the lady boss? Oh my god, this is like the flood rushing against the Dragon King's temple. Is this a challenge to the gods? Yuzian was very satisfied with everyone's reaction. After a while, he said, to be precise, she's his fiancée. They're getting married next month. Then she's the future lady boss. Yes. Now, do you have any objections? None. Okay. Yuzian smiled slightly. The boss has ordered that all the employees who participated tonight will get a raise starting from this month. Also, not only is our lady boss good at cooking, but she also knows how to make medicinal cuisine. If you or your family members suffer from incurable diseases, please watch her live broadcast. Everyone suffers from the 3 tribulations and 6 illnesses. If you're unlucky enough to encounter one day, let me know and I'll help you get it. Consider it an internal employee benefit. As soon as Yuzian said that, the office erupted in cheers. These people only thought that a raise was something to be happy about, but they did not realize that the internal employee benefits that Yuzian mentioned at the end were the real benefits. Not long after, this great benefit would even be included in the company's recruitment advertisement, attracting countless elites in the industry to squeeze their heads out in order to join this new small company. After knowing that the person being harassed by the fake reviewers was their future lady boss, the programmer's resentment was finally reduced. They also became more motivated to do things. After all, it was not a free contribution. There was a raise, and for the sake of a raise, he would *CK them up. None of the Water Army and anti-fans can escape. Remember to record their IPs and IDs. Since we're going to seal them, let's seal them thoroughly and clear them out of our melon net. Hearing Yuzian's words, one of his subordinates tried to remind him, won't this kick out too many viewers and affect the website's traffic? The reason why most live broadcast websites allowed the Water Army to run rampant and malicious competition between streamers was mainly because whether it was the Water Army or the ripping of the streamers, it was all real traffic and could bring benefits to the website in another way. No matter how much they fought, the website would still be the one benefiting in the end. Chapter 141. When Yuzian heard what she said, he did not panic at all. Instead, he replied generously, "Boss will bear all the losses." As soon as he said that, the hearts of the female colleagues in the office could not help but tremble. Could this be the legendary raging to the crown for a beauty? Rumor had it that their boss was an unpredictable, cold, and ruthless person. They did not expect him to be someone who doted on his wife. He was rich, affectionate, and so protective. Why did they not realize that their precious boss was like this in the past? Indeed, good men always belong to other people. They were jealous. Yuzian seemed to have seen through the thoughts of many of the girls in the office. He thought to himself, if you really meet the boss in person, you won't think this way anymore. Back then, his young master was once a rich and wealthy man whom countless wild bees and butterflies vied for. However, when they saw that his legs were crippled, those who could not be chased away immediately turned against him. They avoided his young master like he was a snake or a scorpion, afraid that they would accidentally marry such a cripple. Only young madam was willing to accept and protect his young master. Only she could change his young master. Yu Zian had already become Su Yiyan's #1 fan when he saw her teach Hua Xiaofeng a lesson. No matter what, he could not let young madam be taken advantage of on his company's platform. Anyone who dared to mess with their young madam would be exterminated. There was no room for discussion. At that time, Su Yiyan was still unaware that her medicinal cuisine had been included in the company's welfare benefits by Yu Zian without her permission. There were many internet trolls, Wen Jingping's brainless fans, and many haters who caused trouble. Hua Chenhuan also needed some time to give orders. Although a large number of people had been banned, there were still some who cursed on the bullet screen. Su Yiyan had just turned around to pick up a pot when she saw a big red message from a hater. I thought that your cooking was pretty good and wanted to try it out at the lucky draw one day. Now that I know the truth, I'm really disappointed. Especially the way you guys casually ban people is too much of a bully. From now on, I won't watch your live streams anymore. Su Yiyan was almost amused by this comment. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether you're an audience or not. If you want to eat, you should see if I'm willing to make it for you. Play with you? Is it because my time is not precious, or is it because the true fans in the live stream room are not cute? How shameless are you? When that person saw Su Yiyan's words, he was furious and wanted to post another message to complain about Su Yiyan's arrogance. However, he realized that his account had been blocked. As for the fans who believed in Su Yiyan's decision to stay, they couldn't help but agree after hearing Su Yiyan's words. That's right, that's right. If you want to scram, hurry up and scram. If you all scram, then no one will compete with me for the streamer's medicinal cuisine. My chances of winning the lottery will skyrocket. He, you wish, upstairs. I'm still here. If you want it, you should give it to me first. Also, don't be angry, streamer. We all support you. Those brainless people who think that they're upholding justice after being instigated by a few words are not only brainless, they're also blind. There are many things in the streamer's live stream room that can't be found on the market. That female streamer came up and accused someone of plagiarism. She should at least show some evidence. No matter what, she should at least show some things in the streamer's live stream room. There are actually people who believe in empty words. Chapter 142. Honest people don't resort to insinuations. I came here to join in the fun because I read that B*TCH statement. In the end, after watching the host's previous recording, I couldn't leave. How nice. Ha ha ha, I thought I was the only one who felt this way. Now it seems that the sisters' eyes are still sharp. I clicked on a few of the people who were scolding in the pop-up screen and found that most of them were men. Sigh, as expected, when it comes to identifying the asterisk cheese, men are really at an inherent disadvantage compared to girls. Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh out loud when she saw this. Wasn't that right? The reason why white lotuses and green tea people were called B*asterisk cheese was because they were good at pretending to be innocent and weak. They were good at using their advantages to incite others to stand up for them. They hid their merits and reputation and pretended to be kind and innocent, ignorant of the world. In the eyes of women, these could be seen through at a glance. But in the eyes of men, it could greatly satisfy their desire to protect, making them willing to become a gun in the hands of the other party and charge into battle for them. Of course, in addition to most of the girls who were excellent at identifying B*asterisk cheese, there were also some more rational boys who stayed. Lan Jiaya and Yang Jinyu were two of them. Little sisters, don't overturn the whole boat with one pole. There are still little brothers with sharp eyes here. That's right, that's right. Don't be completely disappointed in men just because you're disappointed in some men. There are still many good men in this world. This clarification attracted the attention of all the young ladies. Sisters, look, there are two little cuties who are alone here. Let's tease them together. Coming. Aya, little brother is so cute. Let us give him a kiss, Mua, Lanjaya. He's just a child. Let go of the baby. Seeing that the originally foul broadcast room became lively again with the efforts of these little cuties, Su Yiyen couldn't help but smile a little more. She wasn't worried about the commotion caused by Wen Jingping at all. Long before she entered this website and started the live broadcast, she had already expected this day to come. It was still the same sentence. Although she needed the audience's favorability, she wasn't someone who would swallow her anger. Moreover, she had already told her grandfather about some things in advance and asked him to help her solve her future problems. If nothing unexpected happened, these people who were jumping around would soon be slapped in the face. She just needed to do what she should do and what she could do. Back to the topic at hand. Let's continue with today's live stream. There are 4 medicinal cuisines to be prepared today. 3 of them are for patients with kidney disease, and the last one is for patients with premature ovarian failure. As soon as Su Yiyen said this, someone on the screen immediately asked. Then, can those who didn't draw the nourishing medicinal cuisine drink this follow-up medicinal cuisine? Of course you can. The effects are actually more or less the same. It's just a change of taste and more choices. Moreover, if one ate too much of the same medicinal herb for too long, one would develop resistance to it. Going too far was as bad as falling short. It's better to rotate depending on the condition of your body. The effect will be better. It would have been better if Su Yiyen did not explain. Now that he did, the screen was filled with complaints. Chapter 143. Then let's make the first soup, poria and pigeon stew. This is what you need to use, poria. Su Yiyen took out a small square plate of small white pieces. Poria has the effect of removing dampness in the orifices, calming the nerves, and nourishing the yang. It has a certain effect on physical weakness, edema, and nephritis. Moreover, it's very simple to make. First, soak the pigeon in water, filter the blood, and then put the pigeon, poria, scallion, ginger, and other seasonings together. First, boil the water, then reduce the heat to a simmer. Su Yiyen took the casserole pot and stewed the soup according to the steps as she spoke. Then, she took out another casserole pot and said, the second soup is matsutake, pigeon egg, and sea cucumber soup. Matsutake and sea cucumber may be relatively rare, but most people should have heard of them. Let's focus on this cordyceps flower. Su Yiyen put the cordyceps flower in the plate close to the camera and said, this is a kind of fungus, which looks a little different from ordinary fungus. The stewed soup is very fragrant and somewhat chewy. But be careful, after the soup is boiled, most of the nutrients of the cordyceps flower have actually flowed into the soup. Viewers who don't like the taste of the cordyceps flower can choose not to eat the cordyceps flower, but they can't not drink the soup. The same goes for the matsutake. Considering the length of the live broadcast, I have soaked it before, and it's almost soaked now. The water used to soak the matsutake cannot be poured away. Directly use it as the soup base, otherwise, the freshness of the matsutake will be lost. Su Yiyen said as she poured the matsutake and the boiled and peeled pigeon egg into the pot with the soup. After boiling, she changed the heat to a slow cooker. Then, she quickly boiled the sea cucumber and the cordyceps flower in a pot of boiling water and quickly soaked them. Then, she took them out and set them aside. After doing this, Su Yiyen started to make the third medicinal cuisine, astragalus braised live fish. Ning Chirue had just undergone acupuncture, so he could eat more high-protein foods such as pigeon eggs and fish. Su Yiyen had already prepared the fish in advance. Now, she only carved a cross on both sides of the fish to facilitate the flavor when frying the fish. Then, she sliced the dang shen and the astragalus. Immediately, he set up a wok to fry the fish first. When the fish was golden brown, he took it out. Then, he added oil and brown sugar to stir-fry it until it was red in color. Then, he added the fish in clear broth, slices of Codenopsis, and astragalus slices to stew it until it was tasty. After that, he added some bamboo shoots and shiitake mushrooms and other ingredients appropriately. Then, he took out the wok and poured some hot lard over it. Stir-frying was not like stewing soup. Stewing soup required a bunch of ingredients to be put in, and the ingredients had to be simmered over low heat before the aroma would gradually waft out. Stir-frying, on the other hand, required the ingredients to be placed in a wok. Once the oil boiled, the aroma would immediately waft out. When Su Yayan was cooking this dish, there were already people who were screaming from the moment she started frying the fish. When the hot oil was poured over the fish, the aroma of the food was even more domineering and filled the entire live broadcast room like a wave, forcing many people to salivate. Isn't it just wah-wah? I'll give it to you, I'll give you everything. I'll even give you my life. Please let me have a bite of this fish. Same here. This fish is crispy on the outside and tender on the inside. It looks especially appetizing. It's not like the one I fried myself. That was really burnt. It was pitch black, and it even burned the wok. +1. It seems very easy to watch the host cook, but when I try to do it myself, I hate myself for being so clumsy. It's really too difficult for me. You guys actually have the time to discuss here. I've already tried several mouthfuls. It's so fragrant. Chapter 144. Su Yiyen put the fish on a plate and began to wash the rice to cook porridge. However, she found that a large group of viewers had suddenly flooded into her live broadcast room. There must be something wrong when things are abnormal, especially when these people's comments were strange no matter how she looked at them. Medicinal Cuisine Live Broadcast Room? It should be this, right? I followed the link sent by Big Senior Brother. It should be right. Su Yiyen's live broadcast room had just experienced a water army attack, so she was a little sensitive to this. Just when Su Yiyen and the viewers in the live broadcast room thought that a new water army was in place, a few comments attracted their attention. Host, is what is said on the internet true? Are the Chinese herbs that you used in your live broadcast room really lost on ancient Earth? Can eating them really cure diseases? Host, do you really have Chinese herbs that were extinct on ancient Earth? I saw the ginseng in your video recording. It was so big, so big. Can you take it out and show it to us? Please, please. Host, we are students of the Department of Pharmacy. Are the materials used in your live broadcast really the Chinese herbs recorded in the text? Where did you get these Chinese herbs that have long been extinct? Can they be planted? You don't have to answer these questions if you don't want to, but please answer my last question. Can these Chinese herbs be sold? Can you sell them to me? Su Yiyen was stunned. Although she had been emphasizing that the materials used in her live broadcast were Chinese herbs, most of the viewers watching the live broadcast only cared about whether the dishes tasted good or not and whether they could cure her difficult disease. Almost no one was like these people who came up and asked her about the herbs. Could it be that there was news about her grandfather so quickly? Before Su Yiyen could think about it, the system had already helped her find the answer. A few minutes ago, a student from the Department of Pharmacy of University A forwarded the host's live broadcast recording and mentioned the Chinese herbs in it. It caused a heated discussion among the students of the same department. Now, almost everyone has come to find you. A student from the Department of Pharmacy of University A? Peng Jiaji was a postgraduate student in the Department of Pharmacy of University A. He had been following his teacher to study the Chinese herbs that were extinct on ancient Earth because they could not be brought away, or because they could not adapt to the current environment after migrating. 2 days ago, his younger sister suddenly sent him a video. She said that she had recently fallen in love with a food streamer who was very good at cooking and could even cure illnesses. If he passed it on to a top student in the pharmaceutical department, it might inspire him. Peng Jiaji had been working on his thesis for the past 2 days. He thought that his sister was just joking with him, so he didn't take it to heart. A few minutes before Su Yiyan started broadcasting, he was extremely annoyed and happened to see this video again. Peng Jiaji furrowed his eyebrows and opened it with the intention of adjusting his mood. However, his attention was immediately attracted by the huge ginseng in Su Yiyan's hand. What did this streamer just say? The thing in her hand was ginseng. The ginseng that only appeared in ancient literature and was known as the king of herbs? Peng Jiaji sat up abruptly. His hands trembled as he flipped through the literature. After a long time, he finally found a crude black and white ginseng drawing in a book. He took the picture and compared it with the ginseng that appeared in the video for a long time. He felt that it was a little similar but also a little different. It was really difficult to come to a conclusion. Chapter 145. Yi Qiliang, the dean of University A's Department of Pharmacy, was a white-haired old man in his 60s or 70s. Logically speaking, he should have retired a long time ago. However, this old man was not one to admit defeat. He insisted on staying in his post and continuing to shine for his ideals. Although the university was very happy to have a big shot helping them, they did not dare to arrange too many classes or too many students for him, considering the old man's age. Most of the students Yi Qiliang taught now were top students in the field of pharmacy. They mainly focused on Western medicine. The only regret was that Yi Qiliang's family had a Chinese medicine book that had been passed down for generations. Yi Qiliang had decided to study medicine because he read this book when he was young. Who would have thought that when he grew up, he would realize that Chinese medicine was in decline? Even a large portion of the Chinese herbs that were needed had been lost during the two transitions. It had been completely annihilated in the long river of history. Without Chinese herbs, a Chinese medicine practitioner was like a housewife who could not cook without rice. Yi Qiliang had no choice but to reluctantly switch to Western medicine. Even so, he had not given up on exploring and researching Chinese medicine and Chinese herbs all these years. Peng Jiaji was the student that he valued the most among the younger generation. Even though the video he sent had an exaggerated name, Yi Qiliang still clicked on it to take a look. When he saw it, his reaction was even worse than Peng Jiaji's. He was so old that he almost couldn't catch his breath. Yi Qiliang finally steadied his breathing. His eyes were almost glued to the screen. He couldn't wait to look through the screen and observe the ginseng up close. In the end, it was Peng Jiaji's message that pulled the old man's attention back. Teacher, have you seen the video? Is the ginseng that appeared in the video the king of all herbs recorded in the ancient medical books? Is it a tonic that can replenish the qi, nourish the blood, and prolong one's life? I only found a black and white picture, so I can't be sure. I can only take the liberty of sending it to you to see if it's real or fake. Yi Qiliang seemed to have woken up from a dream. He did not care about anything else and immediately sent Peng Jiaji a video message. As soon as the call connected, he asked a bunch of questions. Where did you get this video? Where is the girl talking in it now? When did you get this video? Why did you only send it to me now? Peng Jiaji was frightened by his tutor's excited and somewhat ferocious look. He said with trepidation, "This video was sent to me by my sister 2 days ago. She said that it was a video clip of a new live streamer that she especially likes. I only opened it today because I was free. I didn't deliberately hide it from you." Sob, 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 I feel wronged, I feel bitter in my heart. Recording the live stream? Yi Qiliang's eyes twinkled as he said excitedly, "Hurry up and ask your sister where the live stream is. Once you find out, give me the address immediately." Peng Jiaji finally recovered from his initial shock. Looking at his tutor's anxious look, a faint guess arose in his heart. Tutor, could it be that the person in the video is really... Although Yi Qiliang did not answer, his expression said it all. That's great. My sister mentioned before that she's a food live streamer. She's been live streaming for a while now. Maybe there are other similar types of Chinese herbs in her live stream. Chapter 146. When Peng Jiaji sent a message to his sister, she was busy arguing with the ghostwriters in the live broadcast room. She had no time to pay attention to him. Peng Jiaji waited for a long time without getting a reply. The tutor was also urging him. In the end, he couldn't wait any longer and sent a video to his sister, which attracted her attention. When Peng Jiaji's sister heard her brother asking her for the live broadcast room's address, she didn't think much about it. She just thought that her recommendation had worked. She happily sent the live broadcast room's address. She also sent the video recordings of Su Yiyan's previous live broadcasts to Peng Jiaji. These complete videos were different from the previous clip. Most of them were named after the medicinal cuisine made in the current period. When Peng Jiaji saw a series of names of herbs such as motherwort, ginseng, cinnamon, lotus seed, and so on, the corner of his eyes twitched unconsciously. He turned around and sent it to his tutor. As soon as he sent it, he received a request for help from his sister. "Brother, are you free now? If you're free, come to the live broadcast room and help me tear down a few people. The host has been defamed." Damn it, a group of trash ghostwriters. Seeing that our host is a little famous, they openly bullied her. If the host stops broadcasting because of this, I'll stab them. What? Defamed? She might stop broadcasting? How could this be? It wasn't easy to find such a treasure host. If she was scolded by these people until she stopped broadcasting, where could they go to cry? Peng Jiaji was depressed. Not only did he apply for an account to help his sister, but he also gathered his junior brothers and sisters in the same department to help. Yi Qiliang was smashed to death by a bunch of videos sent by his student. Before he had time to be happy, he found out about this matter. He was also very angry. This academic big shot who spent most of his time in the research room, and even when he went online, he only posted some boring academic reports and student homework. Just like that, he logged into his public account that he hadn't used for a long time and posted a post criticizing Wen Jinping. Originally, it was just a public debate between the same kind of hosts on the platform. Because of the big shot's interference, the situation changed and began to develop towards a situation that Wen Jinping couldn't control. Su Yiyan roughly understood the whole story through the system. He had a good impression of this old man who had never met him before, but had dared to stand up for him against the son of the world just because of a few Chinese herbs. Then, she saw her own live broadcast room suddenly light up with familiar exclusive special effects, and the reward announcement sounded at the right time. Congratulations to the streamer, Yan Yan, for receiving 100 luxurious and exquisite villas from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations to the host, Yan Yan, for receiving 9,999 roses from a loyal viewer, Mountain Yusu. Congratulations. Did the moderator finally ban the water army that came to stir up trouble and came back to reward and comfort the streamer? Ah, today is also a day to cry for the beautiful love between the host and the host. Previous poster, don't say such things. The streamer has a family in real life. She already has a family, but the host still dotes on her so much. It can be said that this is true love. As soon as the special effects were turned on, there were immediately a lot of pop-up screens that surrounded the rich people who were praising her. However, in this dense barrage of bullet screen comments, what attracted Su Yiyan the most was a confession message sent by the main character. Yan Yan, don't be angry because of those water army keyboard warriors. In my heart, you will always be the best. Kiss, hug, raise me high. Chapter 147. Not only did Fu Su Mountain's message shock Su Yiyan, but it also shocked the other viewers in the live stream. Before this well-deserved number one dad would only leave a warning when his account was banned. At other times, he would only send tips and not spam the screen. As a result, many people regarded him as a cold and aloof little brother, little sister. Now, this cold and aloof person was openly acting cute and flattering the streamer. Could it be that they had always misunderstood that the father of the number one on the leaderboard was not a cold and aloof young man or woman, but a soft and cute girl? Because of Fu Su mountains. So, are you being kept by a rich woman? Dog head, the crowd. Su Yiyen also suddenly came to her senses. She tried to hold back her laughter and said, "Thank you for your consolation. I'm fine. I know they're trying to make me angry and hurt my body. In the end, I'm the one who's at a disadvantage. I wouldn't do something that would harm others without benefiting myself. They're the ones who should be angry. With so many accounts banned, who knows how much money they've lost. The troll army that had their accounts blocked. Aya, how infuriating." Hua Chenhuan, who was watching the live broadcast, couldn't help but smile when she heard Su Yiyen's words. She then gave Yu Zian another order. Send a lawyer's letter to all the companies behind the fake reviewers to help them realize who they should not have offended. Housekeeper. Yi Qiliang was an old antique who spent most of his time behind closed doors, so he didn't know much about these young people. Peng Jiaji, who was urgently summoned to the office to watch the live broadcast with his teacher, tried to explain, the one who tipped the streamer just now, reward? This is it. Peng Jiaji helped to pull open the gift rewards at the bottom of the live broadcast room and explained to the teacher, this is a gift. You have to spend money to buy it. The better the gift, the higher the price. After sending it out, the streamer would split it with the website and receive a portion of the money. Giving a gift means that you're willing to spend money on the streamer and you like the streamer's work. Yi Qiliang's eyes lit up. Then, if I give her more, will she answer my questions and even agree to some of my requests and show us those herbs? Peng Jiaji wasn't sure either, so he could only give a vague answer. Probably. Usually, when there were too many rewards, as long as the request was not too excessive, the streamer would usually satisfy the audience. Do you want to give it a try? Then let's give it a try. Yi Qiliang was also a swift and decisive person. With Peng Jiaji's help, he immediately bought a few luxurious villas for Su Yiyen. Another tycoon? Did the streamer take a rich man's charm script? Why are the viewers in the live streaming room so rich? As poor as I am, I feel like I don't fit in with this high-end live stream. Every day, I hate the rich. I also want to keep the streamer QAQ. Su Yiyen heard the reward notification and looked up. Just as she was about to thank the new tycoon viewer, she saw a sentence posted by the new tycoon viewer. Chapter 148. Su Yiyen was stunned, but she quickly reacted. This viewer was the old professor from the pharmaceutical department who had spoken up for her online not long ago. The other viewers in the live broadcast room also saw this message and began to discuss it. The dean of University A's pharmaceutical department? Is he some powerful big shot? It sounded like it was very powerful. Is there anyone who knows more? Me, I'm a student from University A's pharmaceutical department. Our dean is a real big shot in the industry. It's a bit difficult to list out his specific achievements here. If you don't understand, you can directly search for the words, Yi Qiliang. You'll be surprised. Many people really went to search because of his words. A series of dazzling achievements, awards, and titles were found. F***CK, awesome. This is a real big shot. Ha ha ha, I saw the big shot scolding that pretentious female streamer on the public platform. That wording, that momentum, it really made my blood boil. Awesome. Unfortunately, the old man's post has already been taken over by the internet water army and the female streamer's brainless fans. It's a bit miserable. Yi Qiliang was an academic after all. Most people like him hid behind the scenes, keeping a low profile and not being known. Wen Jingping's fans and the internet water army had never heard of him. They thought that he was just a marketing account that was trying to ride on popularity, so they just scolded him. They didn't realize that they had inadvertently kicked another iron plate. Ha ha ha, why else would they be called brainless? They even dared to attack this big shot who has made countless contributions to the medical industry. This group of people probably don't know what evil deeds are. Am I the only one who thinks that this big shot was seduced by the streamer's cooking materials? So, what the streamer said before was true. Can the food she makes really cure diseases? His words woke her up. When it came to things like eating to cure diseases, no matter how much other people boasted, she had never tried it herself. There would always be some doubts. And in this situation, did the authorities need to stamp it? A large number of comments flashed across the screen. Su Yiyen naturally saw them, especially the one that said he was attacked by the internet water army and brainless fans because he spoke up for her. So it's Dean Yi. Thank you, Dean Yi, for speaking up for me. I'm also very sorry for implicating Dean Yi, who is being chased and scolded because of a small streamer like me. Some of the materials used in my live stream are indeed Chinese medicinal herbs recorded in ancient medical books. Can I have a look? Su Yiyen didn't have any bad feelings towards this old senior, so he readily agreed. Of course, the materials used in my live broadcast room are all public. As Su Yiyen spoke, she pushed the herbs that were used today in front of the camera. Poria cocos, Codonopsis, astragalus, cordyceps flower. Although Yi Qiliang had already expected that there might be more than just ginseng in this live stream, when he saw these things that only existed in images and words, he couldn't help but hold his breath. Even his hands couldn't stop trembling. Yi Qiliang looked at them through the virtual image for a while and even turned on the taste simulator to taste them. He finally confirmed that these were indeed the Chinese medicinal herbs recorded in his medical book. Tears welled up in his eyes as he trembled as he typed a message. Can you also take out the ginseng that appeared in the previous live stream for me to see? Sure. Su Yiyen didn't refuse and took out the big ginseng from under the cupboard. Chapter 149. The ginseng that had been plucked for a few days was no longer as vibrant as before, but just from the ginseng itself, one could still see its shape and state. However, this was not the main point. The main point was that such an extremely rare and precious herb was only casually stored in a gray and dusty black bag. Where was the box? Where was the box? At the very least, it would have been better to store it in a beautiful gift bag. Using such a shabby bag to casually store it, did you think it was some wild flower that could be found anywhere by the roadside? What a waste of God's gift, what a waste of God's gift. Yi Qiliang clutched his aching heart and was on the verge of collapsing. He was so heartbroken that he wanted nothing more than to dive into the screen and snatch the ginseng. He wanted to personally customize a luxurious gift box and carefully store it in it, treating it as a family heirloom. Su Yiyen was completely unaware of Yi Qiliang's inner roar. She held the ginseng and stood there for a while. She felt that this was a little silly, so she asked, "Is it done?" "Forget it, I'll put it aside for now." "Take your time to look at it. I still have a kanji to make. It's about time. We'll talk about the rest later." As Su Yiyen spoke, she casually placed the ginseng beside the other plates of herbs. The withered green leaves and ginseng roots lay casually on the white porcelain plates. It looked as miserable as it could get. When Yi Qiliang saw this scene, his heart ached again. He felt that if he continued to look at it, he might have to call for emergency treatment. The last medicinal cuisine of the day is Gorgon lotus seed kanji. It mainly uses gorgon and lotus seeds. I've already made lotus seeds once before, so I won't introduce them further. Gorgon is actually somewhat similar to lotus seeds. It's a type of water lily. The gorgon is its seed kernel, just like how lotus seeds are the seeds of lotus flowers. As Su Yiyen spoke, she washed the two herbs and placed them into the clay pot to boil with the glutinous rice. After the gorgon was cooked, she added some white or brown sugar to complete the kanji. Gorgon has the effect of nourishing qi and nourishing the body. Using it together with barley has the effect of removing dampness. If you add glutinous rice to make porridge, it will have the effect of strengthening the kidney. When Yi Qiliang heard Su Yiyen's explanation, he couldn't help but have some doubts in his heart. As usual, he rewarded her with a few villas and asked tentatively, "Young lady, are you a doctor?" Where did these Chinese herbs come from? Can you sell a part of it to us for research? The price is negotiable. If someone else had asked this question, Su Yiyen might have pretended not to see it, but this old man had spoken up for her not long ago. Su Yiyen also accepted his kindness, and said with a faint smile, "These things are passed down in my family, and have been cultivated recently. As for whether or not I'll sell it, and how I'll sell it, we'll have to wait." Wait for what? Wait for the news. Su Yiyen's words were an indirect admission that these herbs would be sold in the future. Not only Yi Qiliang, but the old viewers who had watched her live broadcast for a few episodes were also excited, and they sent a lot of questions on the pop-up screen. The official announcement had not been released yet, and Su Yiyen had no intention of being entangled in this topic. Next, as usual, let's draw a prize. The 2 soups and the porridge will each be given to a lucky audience member. As for the fish, only one was fried, so it has to be given to the patient first. It won't be participating in the draw. As soon as she said this, the audience no longer worried about the ingredients. They began to complain that Su Yiyen did too little, and they were envious of the host's sick family member. Su Yiyen had always mentioned her family in her previous live broadcast, so the audience naturally thought that the patient was Su Yiyen's family member. Chapter 150. The system's lottery speed was very fast, and the 3 slots soon popped up. Due to Yi Qiliang's free publicity, the number of people participating in the lottery in the live broadcast room increased significantly. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that the 3 slots were 1 in a million. The audience members who weren't selected complained and cried on the bullet screen. In addition to the lucky audience members who were selected, they were also jealous of the host's family members who could eat the host's meals at any time. Su Yiyen packed everything and looked up to see the screen full of jealousy. His eyes turned slightly, and he smiled faintly. Finally, I'll pick a lucky audience member to be the attending patient for the next live broadcast. The selected audience member only needs to send me a recent photo, and I'll choose to customize a medicinal cuisine suitable for his physique and send it to him in the next live broadcast. Su Yiyen had already learned from the system that the function of observation was not limited to reality. It could also be used on the internet. In other words, as long as the other party sent a recent photo of himself, Su Yiyen would be able to see his physical condition at the time of the photo and formulate a medicinal cuisine suitable for his physique. As soon as this proposal came out, the audience members who weren't selected were once again in an uproar. Oh my God, a tailor-made medicinal cuisine. What kind of God's chosen one is this? System, quickly familiarize yourself with me, please let me be selected. Gods and Buddhas above, I'm willing to be a vegetarian for the rest of my life in exchange for being selected. I beg the European Emperor to take care of me, please. What nonsense are you talking about above? Gods, Buddhas, and European Emperor? Aren't you afraid that they'll fight? Unlike me, I'm very single-minded. I worship the number 1 on the leaderboard, pray for the number 1 on the leaderboard to bless me. There were countless people praying to the gods and Buddhas in the bullet screen. No matter how one looked at it, it felt like they were cramming at the last minute before the big exam. Su Yiyen's lips curved slightly, and he quickly selected a lucky audience member. Su Yiyen glanced at the other party's ID, and his face went blank for a moment. He blinked and stared for a while before he was sure that he hadn't seen wrongly. Ahem, congratulations to the viewer with the ID, hubby is a Mediterranean. Please send me a private message with your photo after the live broadcast. I will personally order a medicinal cuisine for you during the next live broadcast. That's all for today's live stream. See you next time. After Su Yiyen finished speaking, he did not pay any attention to the screams on the screen. It was as if he had missed out on 100 million viewers. He simply turned off the live broadcast. It was Yi Qiliang's first time playing this game, so his reaction was slow. It was only when Su Yiyen turned off the live stream that he snapped out of his daze and said in annoyance, "Why did she leave? What should he do now? She just said something about seeing you on the next episode. When is the next episode? Tomorrow or the day after tomorrow? No, I can't wait that long. Peng Jiaji knew that his teacher was anxious and hurriedly said, Teacher, we can send her a private message. Private message? A private message is, just as Peng Jiaji was about to discuss this with his teacher, a message suddenly popped up on his chat account. Chapter 151. The Research Institute. What Research Institute? Peng Jiaji was also a little confused. Why was the Research Institute involved in this? My sister said that the Research Institute just released an announcement to speak up for that streamer. Yi Qiliang's eyes flashed slightly. He decisively clicked into the Research Institute's public account and saw the announcement floating at the top of the page. The announcement looked quite standard. In summary, it said, Thank you to an anonymous person for freely providing his family's extinct plant seeds. The Research Institute has recently used this batch of seeds to cultivate Chinese herbs that were lost in ancient earth. These Chinese herbs can not only nourish the body, but also cure diseases. This is a great discovery and something worthy of celebration. The Research Institute will try to introduce nutrient solutions with Chinese herbs in the future. They will also open up a separate channel to sell Chinese herbs. Those who don't understand Chinese herbs and don't know how to consume them can go to XX Live broadcast room. There will be experts there to clear up your doubts. The announcement also included holographic images of several new Chinese herbs, as well as detailed internal composition, and some related knowledge and complex pharmacology. Although the announcement didn't mention the name of the person who provided the seeds for free, it included a link to Su Yiyan's live broadcast room at the end. It also directly labeled the person in the live broadcast room as an expert. Coincidentally, when Su Yiyan answered Yi Qiliang's question during the live broadcast today, she said meaningfully, Wait for the news. Putting the two together, it wasn't hard to guess who they were talking about. Yi Qiliang repeatedly read the announcement several times. His expression was unprecedentedly serious. Peng Jiaji trembled with fear as he watched from the side. After a while, he asked tentatively, Teacher, are we still going to privately message the streamer? No need for now, Yi Qiliang said as he suddenly stood up and walked out. Peng Jiaji was shocked. Teacher, where are you going? The Research Institute. The current director of the Research Institute was his former student. He knew better than anyone whether the Research Institute had obtained any extinct plant seeds or whether it had been cultivated. It wasn't an exaggeration to say that these things had appeared out of nowhere. He had to find someone who knew what was going on. While Yi Qiliang was rushing over to the Research Institute to get to the bottom of the matter, Yu Zian and the others were also stunned by the sudden appearance of this heavyweight Research Institute. It took him a while to come back to his senses, and he was extremely excited. F***ck, young madam is too awesome, isn't she? She actually got the Research Institute to publicly advertise for her. That's a Research Institute we're talking about. Zhua Yanbai looked at Yu Zian jumping up and down in excitement. The corners of his lips curled up as he smiled helplessly. I think this is to be expected. Expected? Have you forgotten the identity of young madam's maternal family? Yu Zian was stunned. You mean, Zhua Yanbai nodded solemnly. They had investigated Su Yiyan's family background several years ago. Su Yiyan's maternal grandfather was the backbone of the Research Institute's Science and Technology Department, and her maternal grandmother was the head of the Biology Department. It could be said that most of the people in the Research Institute were the younger generation of her family. It was precisely because of this that Hua Qihan had done everything he could to get Hua Xiaofeng to marry Su Yiyan. Unfortunately, it was better to raise a wooden club than a son. Chapter 152. What Zhua Yanbai cared more about was not Su Yiyan's relationship with the Research Institute, but the public Chinese herbal medicine. It was the first time he had heard that these hua herbs, seafood, and fruits could help nourish the body and cure illnesses. His young master's legs had seen countless doctors and had undergone countless treatments, but there had been no improvement. Would young madam's herbs, hey, why are you in a daze? Yu Ziyan's call successfully pulled Zhua Yanbai's attention back. He smiled and said, "Nothing." Yu Ziyan saw that he did not want to talk about it, so he did not force him. He continued happily, "Ha ha ha ha, I was thinking about how to teach that evil female streamer a lesson, but now it seems like there's no use for me. That's the Research Institute." With this announcement, who would dare to offend young madam in the future? Offending young madam is the same as offending the Research Institute. If you offend the Research Institute, just cutting off your nutrient supply is enough to make you beg for death. She's probably regretting it so much that her intestines are green. Zhua Yanbai glanced at him and poured cold water on him. Don't forget that she's a streamer on your website. She's a popular streamer. Yu Ziyan was stunned for a moment. Can I hide her from the public? What do you think? She's Hu Xiaofeng's current girlfriend. Young master and young madam might want to end her personally. Before you act on your own, you'd better ask young master first. Yu Ziyan was even more stunned when he heard this. Asking him to ask Hu Chenhuan? Wasn't he in a hurry to die? But you're right about one thing. What? Zhua Yanbai narrowed his eyes and gloated. She's probably regretting it so much that her intestines are green. Wen Jingping was indeed regretting it now. She was the most popular girl in the gourmet section of the website. In just 1 or 2 months, she had attracted millions of fans to watch her live stream. When she first posted that post, it quickly rushed to the public with the support of these fans and the help of the internet water army. Just as she had expected, her tearful complaint successfully won the sympathy of many people. Because of this exposure, many passers-by found out that she was participating in a variety show and voted for her out of pity. She was directly pulled from the bottom circle to the middle position, which could be said to be a pleasant surprise. After that, Wen Jingping bought another wave of paid posters and asked them to lead people to Su Yiyan's live broadcast room to scold people. Unexpectedly, Su Yiyan and Hu Chenhuan did not play by the rules. No matter how many people went, they were all sealed and never returned. Wen Jingping already had an ominous feeling in her heart at that time. However, when she thought about how this would definitely cause public anger in the live broadcast room, the harmony in the live broadcast room was just a temporary illusion. As long as he pinned the label of plagiarism on her outside of the live broadcast room, she would not be able to hide the truth from the masses no matter what kind of background she had. At that time, her foundation would be destroyed. So what if she had more ancient earth plants? She had plenty of ways to ruin her reputation and make her take out things that no one would believe in. Wen Jingping had a good plan, but she did not expect that God's plan would not work out. In this world, it was impossible for everything to go according to her wishes without any unforeseen circumstances. Chapter 153. It wasn't until someone dug out the old man's life history that Wen Jingping suddenly panicked. That ominous premonition became even stronger. Her male fans didn't back down after learning about Yi Qiliang's identity. Instead, they started cursing Yi Qiliang for taking advantage of his seniority and mocking Yi Qiliang for having an affair with that female streamer. Their words were vulgar and made people feel uncomfortable. Wen Jingping tried to stop them, but it wasn't very effective. The more she tried to stop them, the more the male fans felt sorry for her and the fiercer they scolded her. It was also at this moment that Wen Jingping realized that things had started to develop in a direction that she couldn't control. Unfortunately, it was too late. The sudden statement from the Research Institute made the passers-by who had previously spoken up for Wen Jingping give up. Some of them even turned around and cursed Wen Jingping for using them as tools. Only the male fans were still jumping around in place. However, it proved that 1 fan is better than 10 haters. The more they jumped around, the more disgusted they were. The originally good situation took a turn for the worse. Wen Jingping went from being the victim in the beginning to a vicious woman who casually slandered others and tried to suppress the newbie streamer to hype herself up. However, this wasn't the most troublesome thing. Someone spread the video of Su Yiyan's carving and it was seen by a chef from a high-class restaurant. The chef was immediately amazed by the plate of carving work. After learning about the commotion caused by Wen Jingping, he immediately started to scold her on the internet. He ridiculed Wen Jingping for using a chicken feather as a token of authority and boasted that she was a chef who had inherited her family's heritage just because she could make a few dishes that weren't presentable. He also accused her of plagiarism, and not to mention that she wasn't as good as her. Just her knife skills and those Sichuan boiled fish and spicy crayfish were enough to turn her into dregs in seconds. Even so, she still dared to say that she was using her family's recipes to benefit the audience and said that others were using her dishes to become famous. How shameless. With the few dishes you made, we won't even accept them if you give them to our high-class restaurants. After a round of criticism, it could be said that Wen Jingping's face was slapped until it was swollen. Wen Jingping was so angry that her face turned blue, but she didn't dare to refute. If these words were said by Su Yiyan, she could still accuse her of being arrogant and despotic and making false charges. However, the person who said this was a chef who had been famous for a long time. If he were to speak up at this time, he would simply be sending himself to be tortured. She could only watch helplessly as her evil power backfired on her. The people who had previously helped her scolded Su Yiyan were now scolding her as fiercely as they scolded her. Even the talent show that had originally planned to retain her for a few episodes had also called, hinting that it would be best for her to withdraw from the competition. Otherwise, if she continued to cause trouble, it would not look good on anyone. How could this be? How could this be? Wen Jingping was both angry and anxious. Her small face became incomparably ferocious because of her unwillingness. It wasn't easy for me to come to this world. Now that I'm here, do I have to be mediocre like in my previous life, humiliated, bullied, and stepped on by countless people? I can't accept this, I can't accept this. Yes, Wen Jingping. To be precise, the Wen Jingping before she transmigrated was not a person of this world. She came from the ancient earth of the 21st century. Chapter 154. When Wen Jingping woke up again, she had already arrived in this world. She had transmigrated into the body of a girl with a similar family background and the same name as her. Once again, Wen Jingping, who had read countless transmigration novels, almost immediately figured out her own situation. She smoothly brushed off her family and friends and replaced the original owner to survive until now. In the eyes of others, Wen Jingping was still the same as before, obedient, sensible, kind, and tenacious. Only she knew that under her calm appearance, there was a heart of unwillingness hidden. She did not want to live the cowardly life of her previous life again. She firmly believed that God gave her a chance to live again because he wanted her to become the female lead of this world. She wanted countless men to fall in love with her, live and die for her, and completely change her fate. At first, Wen Jingping thought that she had just transmigrated into a parallel world, and that everything around her was not much different from her previous life. Until she saw the nutrient solution, and after some investigation, she found out that this world had been in the 21st century for nearly 1,000 years. And the place she was in now was not Earth, but the second planet that humans migrated to for survival. Before this, humans had undergone 2 migrations in order to survive. Although there were twists and turns, they finally settled on this small planet, but their vitality was greatly damaged. Many of the ancient Earth's flora and fauna, as well as its history and culture, were lost. The real future world was not as beautiful as humans imagined. After losing the home that they relied on for survival, humans struggled to survive. They gave up everything they could to finally find a place to live and began a difficult reconstruction. Destruction, migration, reconstruction, destruction again, migration again, and reconstruction again. This was a very long and difficult process. Therefore, in the past 1,000 years, the technology of this world was more advanced than the 21st century, but some aspects were still the same, and even worse than the 21st century. After learning that chefs were a rare profession in this era, and recipes were passed down as secrets, Wen Jingping did not even think about it and chose to live broadcast cooking to earn her first bucket of gold. Wen Jingping's family background in her previous life was similar to this. Her parents were outside, so she could only be self-sufficient at home and cook for herself. This was a common survival skill in his previous life, but in this world, it had become a skill sought after by countless people. Wen Jingping's live stream quickly became popular. She also enjoyed the celebrity treatment that she had always dreamed of in her previous life. She became the #1 live streamer on a website. She was discovered by an entertainment company and sent to a talent show to create a star. In addition, just like in idol dramas, she had a rich boyfriend who was born with a silver spoon in his mouth. Just as she was about to become a phoenix, she was scared out of her wits by this newbie anchor who suddenly appeared. The moment she saw the chili and spicy boiled fish, Wen Jingping keenly felt threatened. She had a feeling that this newbie streamer was not simple. She had something that she did not have. In order to confirm this hunch, Wen Jingping went to watch all the recordings of Su Yiyan's live broadcast. The familiar ancient earth herbs that should have been extinct appeared in front of Wen Jingping so obviously. She was so scared that she was in a mess, but it also made her more certain of her thoughts. Regardless of whether the appearance of these things was accidental or not, she had to destroy this person. Chapter 155. Wen Jingping was also scared out of her wits by Su Yiyan's sudden appearance. Otherwise, with her temperament, she would not have done such an impulsive thing. It was also because she had been living too comfortably recently. Her career and love were both successful. She was about to step onto the stage and become an entertainment star that she did not even dare to dream of in her previous life. She could not accept anyone becoming a threat to her fame. However, it was too late to say anything now. Talent shows were said to create stars, but in fact, they mainly relied on the audience's popularity. Although Wen Jingping was good-looking, she was not the kind of person who would amaze people at first glance. In addition, she was not a professional, so her ability was inferior to others. If it were not for Hu Xiaofeng's help behind the scenes, she might not have been able to stay until now. Now that she had done such a thing, she had lost all her popularity. In turn, she had helped Su Yiyan. It was really a double whammy. Wen Jingping was angry and scared. However, there were some problems on Hu Xiaofeng's side. His phone could not be reached. When she went to look for him, she was chased out. It seemed that he was unreliable. At the thought of this, Wen Jingping could not help but complain to Hu Xiaofeng. What should I do now? Ning Qirui, yes, there is still Ning Qirui. He will definitely help me. He definitely will. Wen Jingping also panicked. She suddenly remembered that she still had a spare tire. Immediately, as if she had grasped at the last straw, she looked for Ning Qirui's phone number with trembling hands and dialed it. Su Yiyan was unaware of all the things that happened on the internet. After turning off the live broadcast, she focused her attention on reality. This was the main reason why she chose not to show her face. The live broadcast was separated from reality, so that all the things that happened on the internet would not affect her and her family in reality. After sending out the lucky draw and Ning Qirui's dinner, Su Yiyan also saw the photo sent by the last lucky audience member. A young man in his early 30s with half a round egg on his head. Pfft. Before seeing this photo, Su Yiyan was still hoping that this person might be joking. Now that he saw this picture, he finally understood that the Mediterranean Sea was really the Mediterranean Sea. Su Yiyan stared at the photo and confirmed that this person's head was the only serious injury. His body was fine. She then sent a message to him, telling him that she would try to make Dao Xingfa's medicinal cuisine for him in her next live stream. She also asked for his opinion, asking if she could mention the medicinal cuisine's effects in her live stream. As soon as the other party received Su Yiyan's message, he excitedly confirmed several times whether the medicinal cuisine could really help with hair growth. After receiving Su Yiyan's rather reserved reply, she wasn't too disappointed. She said very good-naturedly, "It's okay. It's not a shameful illness. Host, you can talk about it as much as you want. If it's really effective after I eat it, I'll definitely take the initiative to advertise for the streamer." This audience member was quite open-minded. Although it was a little embarrassing to be bald, it was not an illness that was related to a man's dignity like what was mentioned in the previous live stream. There was nothing to hide. Su Yiyen then breathed a sigh of relief and finalized the content of her next live stream. Just as she was about to continue to cook some dishes for dinner and send them to Hu Chenhuan, she received a private message from a certain someone. Today's live stream has ended successfully. Yan Yan is as good and awesome as ever. Love you. Chapter 156. Without waiting for Su Yiyen to react, the other party sent a bunch of flattering farts over. Mountain without him, 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 mountain without him. The mountain without him, 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 mountain without also, Yan Yan, the soup you made today was especially delicious, and the dishes were also very delicious. Especially that fish, it was fragrant and fresh, and could be said to be perfect in terms of appearance, smell, and taste. Then, this person used 300 words to write a short essay describing the delicious taste of the fish in all aspects. The original intention was to let Su Yiyen realize the high value of the fish and not give it away casually. It was a pity that Su Yiyen's focus was a little off. After the initial surprise, he narrowed his eyes and followed up with a question. Yen, have you tried the soup I made? Is it the matsutake, pigeon egg and sea cucumber soup? Hu Chenhuan was stunned when she saw this sentence. Su Yiyen had made 2 soups today, poria and pigeon soup and matsutake, pigeon egg and sea cucumber soup. Before this, she had emphasized that 3 of the dishes today were medicinal cuisines for patients with kidney disease, and one of them was for premature ovarian failure. Although Su Yiyen did not mention anything about the treatment of the soup, the ingredients used in the other 3 dishes all mentioned kidney problems. It was self-evident what the main treatment of this soup was. Hu Chenhuan, who was inexplicably diagnosed with premature ovarian failure, was speechless. However, President Hua, whose brain had short-circuited, did not consider that not only men could get kidney disease, but women could also get kidney disease. When he saw the word kidney, he naturally thought that men had a higher chance of getting it, and his current avatar was a young lady. In order to protect herself well, Hu Chenhuan endured the humiliation and replied, yes. When Su Yiyen saw this reply, she almost couldn't hold back her laughter. Yen, I see. Can you describe the taste of this soup? Didn't you say it was delicious? Hu Chenhuan, a certain someone once again experienced what it meant to lift a rock only to drop it on one's own foot. He braced himself and pieced together another 300-word article about the experience of eating delicacies. Seeing this, Su Yiyen almost laughed out loud. However, after laughing, Su Yiyen was even more curious as to why this person's demeanor had suddenly changed. Yen, are you me? Mountain without the mountain without the mountain, why do you ask? Yen, you weren't so talkative before. Hu Chenhuan's heart skipped a beat. Mountain the future, then do you like the current me or the previous me? Yen, I can't say which one I like. I'm just curious about what you've been through. Hu Chenhuan was silent for a moment, but she still answered truthfully. Mulberry the mountain, someone told me that as a fan, if you don't know how to flatter someone, you're not qualified. Su Yiyen couldn't help but laugh again. She was suddenly curious about who said that. What a talent. Gu Xiaoyang, who had just finished his work and was rushing to the old house, suddenly felt a chill on his back and an itch on the tip of his nose. He sneezed loudly several times in a row. What's going on? Is someone talking about me behind my back? Yen, so you went to research how to flatter someone? Mulberry the mountain, yes. Yen, did you come up with all that just now? Mulberry the mountain. Most of it was taken from other people and pieced together. Su Yiyen narrowed her eyes, a trace of slyness flashing across her eyes. Yen, oh, so your love for me is all based on other people's things and piecing them together. It felt so perfunctory and a little sad. Chapter 157. As expected, Hua Chenhuan panicked when she saw the message. For a moment, she even forgot that she was chatting with Su Yiyan as an ordinary fan in the live broadcast room. Mulberry without mountain, no. Mulberry without mountain, I didn't mean to patronize you. Mulberry without mountain, I'm too stupid. I can't say anything nice, so I have to borrow other people's flattery. Hua Chenhuan sent several messages in a row. It was obvious that she was really nervous. Su Yiyan stopped when she was ahead and continued to guide her. Yen, I don't like to hear any fancy words. I only want to hear the truth. Mulberry without mountain. Got it. Yen, so? Hua Chenhuan frowned slightly and stared at this reply for a long time. Finally, she blushed slightly and typed two simple words. Mulberry without mountain, love you. This time, it was Su Yiyan's turn to be stunned. It was obviously a simple word, but it was unexpectedly seductive. Su Yiyan's face was slightly red, and the corners of her lips couldn't help but curl upward, giving a certain someone great affirmation. Yen, yes, this sentence is the best. Knowing that the other party didn't know his true identity and most likely thought that he was a girl, Hua Chenhuan couldn't help but be seduced by these words. After being stunned for a moment, she remembered her original intention, which was to conscientiously test the enemy's situation. Mulberry without mountain, what is the streamer doing now? Is she packing the braised fish? This was the second time Hua Chenhuan mentioned the fish. Even if Su Yiyan was slow, she could feel that something was wrong. Moreover, this sentence pattern was very familiar. Not long ago, Hua Chenhuan had used the same sentence pattern to ask her what she was doing at the hospital. So, after all this time, this guy saw that she made a fish for Ning Qiruei and was jealous again? Su Yiyan couldn't help but laugh. She wanted to tease him again. Yen, I just gave the fish to the delivery man to send to the patient. Mountain you mountain. Oh. Su Yiyan didn't know if it was an illusion or not, but she heard a little bit of resentment in that short oh. It was full of jealousy. Yen, I'm cooking now. Mountain without the 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 life yen. The live stream just now was about making medicinal cuisine for patients. Now, I'm making daily meals for my parents and my husband. It's different. Hubby? Hua Chenhuan's face reddened from the tip of her ears to the base of her neck at a speed visible to the naked eye. Dun Dun, who had been hiding in the corner playing with a ball, chased the ball and ran to Hua Chenhuan's feet. When he looked up and saw this scene, all the hair on his body stood on end. He cautiously and curiously circled the wheelchair a few times. What's wrong with this dog's father? His face could even change color. Hua Chenhuan didn't notice Dundun's strange behavior. When the heat on her face subsided a little, she changed her sour and resentful tone and replied in a good mood. Mountain you mountain, then you're busy. I won't disturb you anymore. The small wave at the end was called a ripple. It was obvious how happy someone was in her heart now. Su Yiyan's eyes flashed with a smile. Although this guy was a vinegar jar, he was really easy to coax. He was like a kitten. He was easily irritated, but as long as you stroked his fur, he would immediately hold on to your hand and meow softly. Su Yiyan had no resistance to this at all. Chapter 158. At that moment, Ning Qiruei, who had no idea that he had just escaped death, was lying on the hospital bed in the VIP ward, thinking about life with a serious expression. After Su Yiyan left, Ning Siyuan sent everyone away and asked about the conflict between Ning Qiruei and Su Yiyan. Ning Qiruei naturally could not say anything because he really did not have any conflict with Su Yiyan. The one who really had a conflict with her was Wen Jingping. At first, Ning Qiruei was a little reluctant to talk about it, but later, he was really forced into a corner, so he accidentally mentioned Wen Jingping. Ning Siyuan had heard of Wen Jingping before, so he continued to interrogate him. Ning Qiruei was young and inexperienced, so he was no match for his older brother. It did not take long for him to be defeated and had to confess. So, you had a conflict with Miss Su because of Wenjingping? Oh, no, that's not called a conflict. That's called you running up to her one-sidedly, but she couldn't be bothered with you. Ning Qiruei was a little embarrassed, and he shouted angrily, "Brother. It's no use calling me brother. Tell me honestly, what did she tell you?" She said that she and Hu Xiaofeng were in love, and they were engaged before Hu Xiaofeng and Miss Su got engaged. Hu Xiaofeng's parents disliked her family background and thought that she was not good enough for Hu Xiaofeng, so they took the initiative and arranged for him to get engaged to Miss Su. After Hu Xiaofeng found out about this, he also wanted to break off the engagement, but Miss Su already had feelings for him. Not only was she unwilling to let them be together, but she also considered herself the legal wife and went to their school to cause trouble for her. Ning Siyuan's face darkened and he sneered. What she meant was that she and Hu Xiaofeng were in love, and Miss Su was the third party in their relationship. It was only because of the engagement that Miss Su became Hu Xiaofeng's fiancée, so she had no choice but to be the third party? Ning Qiruei glanced at his brother's expression and did not dare to answer. Ning Siyuan took a deep breath and continued to ask, "How did she explain to you that Hu Xiaofeng took her to the Su family and asked to break off the engagement in public some time ago?" She said that Hu Xiaofeng had asked his parents and the Su family to break off the engagement several times, but there was no result. His parents even threatened to lock him up at home until the two of them were married if he dared to mention breaking off the engagement again. They really had no choice but to make a big fuss at the birthday banquet to force the Su family to agree to break off the engagement. How could you believe this kind of nonsense? Ning Siyuan finally couldn't hold it in any longer and shouted, panting heavily, "How can you believe everything she says? Do you even have a brain? How many times did I tell you when you left home? What you see may not be the truth, and what you hear may not be the truth. You have to think of a way to distinguish and investigate on your own. You don't want to be coaxed by a few casual words like this." Ning Qiruei shrunk his neck and muttered indignantly, "Brother, how do you know that what she said must be false?" Chapter 159. Ning Qiruei was dumbfounded. It took him a while to find his voice. He mumbled, Maybe they knew each other before this and just got back together this year?" Ning Siyuan sneered. "Okay, even if that's the case. She said that Miss Su went to her school to cause trouble. If Miss Su really went to look for her in a public place like the school, there must be someone who saw it, right? Have you checked it out?" Ning Qiruei choked and looked guilty. Ning Siyuan sighed and said helplessly, "You said that Miss Su has feelings for him and the Su family is unwilling to annul the marriage. Hu Xiaofeng's parents also looked down on Miss Wen's family background and insisted that Hu Xiaofeng marry Miss Su. That's why they had no choice but to annul the marriage in public. But according to my people's investigation, Hu Xiaofeng's parents might have done these things, but the Su family would never compromise." Compromise? Why? Because family Hua begged the Su family to agree to this marriage. If it weren't for the fact that Miss Su's mother and Mrs. Hua were old friends, the Su family wouldn't even want to marry family Hua. How could they know that Hu Xiaofeng had someone else in his heart and wanted to annul the marriage and still refuse? Ning Qiruei was stunned. His heart had already started to waver, but he still said in a low voice, "So, Jingping was deceived?" Ning Siyuan was almost angered to death by his stupid brother. He had been in the business world for many years and had seen all kinds of people. Ning Qiruei had just mentioned it casually, but Ning Siyuan had already seen through Miss Wen's character. Even if there were some small discrepancies in the details, the events in the past few months had caused so many messy things. If one were to say that Miss Wen was truly ignorant of everything and was untainted like a white lotus in its prime, he really wouldn't believe it. His poor stupid brother was deceived and still helped count the money. He was so stupid. Is it her or you who was deceived? Think about it yourself. After saying that, Ning Siyuan left without looking back. If he stayed any longer, he was afraid that he would be so angry that he would forget Ning Qiruei's illness and beat him up with his own hands. After Ning Siyuan left, Ning Chirue fell into an indecisive contemplation. His rationality told him that his brother would not lie to him. There might really be something wrong with Wen Jingping. However, there was always a voice in his head telling him to believe in Wen Jingping. Even if someone was lying, it might not be her. At this moment, Ning Chirue received a call from Wen Jingping. "Brother Chirue, how have you been? You haven't contacted me for a few days. Are you busy?" Ning Chirue listened to the familiar gentle greeting, and his mood was a little complicated. He whispered, "I've been sick recently." "Sick? Is it serious?" "Fortunately, it's already under treatment." "That's good." "Yes." Chapter 160. Wen Jingping was already anxious because of all the things that had happened in the past few days. Even though she knew that Ning Chirue was most likely her only hope now, she still felt suffocated. Her tone unconsciously revealed a little impatience. "I happen to be free these 2 days. Brother Chirue, which hospital are you in now? Can I come and see you?" If Wen Jingping had taken the initiative to look for him, Ning Chirue would have been more than happy to take the initiative to arrange all kinds of things for her and even send someone to pick her up in person. If the reporters outside took pictures of them, it would inevitably create some news. However, he had just been scolded by his elder brother, and his mind was still a little muddled. When he heard Wen Jingping's words, he suddenly felt a little uncomfortable and refused without thinking. "Forget it. The smell of the hospital is heavy, and there are many people. It's not convenient for you to come over." Although he said that, Ning Chirue still had a little thought in his heart. He thought that if Wen Jingping really cared about him, she would not care about this inconvenience and would definitely want to come and see him. But if she was just being polite, then, Wen Jingping, who did not know Ning Chirue's thoughts, was slightly relieved when she heard his words. She pretended to be regretful and said, "Okay then. Let's meet again when you recover, Brother Chirue." Ning Chirue's heart suddenly turned cold. He frowned slightly and continued, "Then we may have to wait for a long time." "A long time?" Wen Jingping was taken aback. "Didn't you just say that it's not serious?" "It's not serious, but it's more troublesome to treat and will take some time." "How long will it take?" "At least 1 or 2 years." "So long." Wen Jingping's face suddenly changed. "Then, Brother Chirue, what about your work during this time?" Ning Chirue narrowed his eyes. As his brother said, he was stupid, but not hopelessly stupid. He was still sick, but a certain someone didn't care about what kind of illness it was that would take a year or 2 to recover. She didn't care about his current physical condition, what kind of pain he would experience during the treatment process, or whether he needed someone to accompany him. Instead, she only cared about his illness, whether he could still complete his job, and whether he could continue to stay in this industry. For a moment, Ning Chirue suspected that the person who was talking to him was not his friend, but a boss who prioritized the company's interests. "There's nothing we can do about it. Since we're sick, we can only put down our work. The company didn't make things difficult for me, but I'm afraid I won't be able to stay in the entertainment industry for the next year or 2. As soon as Ning Chirue said this, Wen Jingping's heart skipped a beat. The entertainment industry looked glamorous, but it was actually very fickle. Ning Chirue was a popular newcomer promoted by their company. He seemed to have a bright future, but if he really did not show up for 2 years, how many people would remember him? He didn't have any representative works to begin with, and the fans that he attracted with his face alone weren't solid either. In this world, there was no one who couldn't survive without another. After 2 years, how much traffic could Ning Chirue attract when he appeared in front of the public again? In Wen Jingping's view, Ning Chirue was now a useless pawn of his management company. Could this worthless pawn still help her? Wen Jingping's face was ashen, and she even had some resentment toward Ning Chirue in her heart. Why did he have to get sick at this time of all times? Chapter 161. Ning Chirui waited for a long time, but Wen Jingping did not respond. The coldness in his eyes intensified. Let's not talk about me. How have you been recently? Is work going well? Ning Chirui's words successfully pulled Wen Jingping out of her twisted negative emotions. She barely managed to calm herself down and said in distress, "It's not going very well." When Ning Chirui heard her words, he vaguely guessed something. He raised his eyebrows slightly and asked calmly, "Did something happen?" "Actually, it's not a big deal. It's just that someone on the same website copied my recipes after watching my live stream and became famous. Originally, I didn't want to make things too difficult for her, so I only posted a post to persuade her to stop such infringement. I didn't expect this person to have such a strong background. Now, many people on the internet are scolding me, and the program team is also." Wen Jingping's words were sad and aggrieved. If it were any other day, Ning Chirui would have comforted her with heartache. But today, Ning Chirui was silent for a moment and asked in a low voice, "Does Hu Xiaofeng know about this?" "Xiaofeng?" Wen Jingping was stunned. Usually, this person would not ask her this question. "Xiaofeng has been busy recently, so I don't want to bother him with such trivial matters." "You don't want to bother him, so you use it to bother me?" Ning Chirui suddenly felt a little annoyed. "Oh." Wen Jingping was dumbfounded. "Just an oh?" Usually, at times like this, you are very enthusiastic, right? Without waiting for Wen Jingping to think more, Ning Chirui asked calmly, "By the way, you told me before that Hu Xiaofeng had to break off the engagement with Miss Su in public because the Su family was unwilling to break off the engagement. Did he tell you this, or did you guess it yourself?" "Brother Chirui, why are you suddenly asking this? Did someone tell you something?" "How do you know that someone told me something? Can't I be curious?" "That's not what I meant." "So, which one is it?" "He told me, and I saw it with my own eyes." "Then, you said that Miss Su went to your school to make trouble for you. Was it in public, or was there anyone around?" Wen Jingping did not understand why Ning Chirui suddenly asked about this, but it did not stop her from feeling guilty. "She said she wanted to talk to me alone, so, is there no one around?" "Yeah. I understand." The warmth in Ning Chirui's eyes completely dissipated, and he already had a conclusion in his heart. Wen Jingping could not see Ning Chirui's expression, but her intuition told her that something was leaving her. She was inexplicably flustered. "Chirui, it's time for my treatment. I'll contact you next time." After Ning Chirui finished speaking, he did not wait for Wen Jingping's reaction and directly ended the call. Wen Jingping listened to the busy tone and took a while to react. Did Ning Chirui hang up on her? Her last hope was shattered, and Wen Jingping could no longer suppress the anger in her heart. She flipped the table next to her. "You usually say nice things, but when it comes to critical moments, none of you can be relied on. None of you can be relied on." Wen Jingping threw everything she could get her hands on, and her face became crazier and more twisted. The gentleness she had when she was talking to Ning Chirui on the phone just now was nowhere to be seen. Ning Chirui hung up the phone and felt that he was a fool for feeling sorry for someone during this period of time. Chapter 162. Yang Jinyu arrived at this time. When he saw this scene, he thought that Ning Chirui had given up on himself because of his illness, so he quickly stepped forward to stop him. "What are you doing? Even if you're sick, you can't give up on yourself. Aren't there doctors around? There will always be a way." Ning Chirui was slightly startled and looked at Yang Jinyu in surprise. "Why are you here?" Yang Jinyu saw that Ning Chirui did not do anything drastic, so he breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. "I sent you a few messages, but you didn't reply, so I knew something might have happened to you. When I called, it was your agent who answered. He told me that you were sick and are now in the hospital, so I rushed over." Yang Jinyu glanced at Ning Chirui cautiously as he spoke. Before he came, He had roughly learned about Ning Chirue's condition from Ning Chirue's agent and knew that it was a serious illness that could become serious if he was not careful. Because of this, when he saw Ning Chirue pounding the bed, his first reaction was to think that Ning Chirue was worried about his illness. Don't worry. Since we already know about your condition, we will definitely find a treatment soon and let you get better as soon as possible. Okay. Ning Chirue had not recovered from the huge shock that the gentle girl he liked was actually a beautiful snake full of lies. His whole body was a little weak. Yang Jinyu saw that he was getting more and more anxious, and a hint of struggle flashed in his eyes. He gritted his teeth and said, "Actually, I came here today to tell you that if the hospital can't help, you can try medicinal cuisine." Medicinal cuisine? Ning Chirue felt that this term was a little familiar. Well, not long ago, a friend of mine also had a relatively difficult illness. He saw many doctors, but they all said that there was no way. Later, by chance, he drew a medicinal cuisine in a live broadcast room, and it really worked after eating it. Yang Jinyu was about to sell it, but when he looked down, he met Ning Chirue's indescribable eyes. What's with your expression? Generally, sentences like "my friend" and "my relative" are referring to themselves. Ning Chirue looked at him meaningfully. What's the more difficult illness? Is it because you've been with a lot of women and finally got your retribution? Yang Jinyu did not expect Ning Chirue's mouth to be so poisonous. He hit the nail on the head, and his whole body froze. Ning Chirue just said it casually, but he did not expect Yang Jinyu's expression to change after hearing it. It's true. TSK, TSK, TSK. I can't believe that the CEO of the Yang Group, the famous playboy in the upper-class circle, can't do it. If this were to spread, it would be big news. Ning Chirue saw that Yang Jinyu's face was green and white, and he looked like he could explode at any time. He quickly restrained his smile and said, "Then continue. After you were impotent, you drew a medicinal cuisine in the live broadcast room. What happened then?" After Su Yiyan handed the food to him, he gave him a bottle of hot drink. "Thank you for your hard work. This is mint tea. Drink some to relieve your nose's discomfort." Gu Xiaoyang was stunned. He had a slight allergic rhinitis. It was fine usually, but when the season changed or the weather was cold, he would sneeze non-stop. His nose was always uncomfortable. Yu Zian and the others knew about this, but he didn't expect Su Yiyan to be so attentive to find out. She even specially prepared a cup of tea for him. Chapter 164. This had nothing to do with Su Yiyan's attentiveness. She only knew that Gu Xiaoyang had rhinitis because she had heard others mention it when she was with Hu Chenhuan in her previous life. In her opinion, anyone who treated Hu Chenhuan well was one of her own. Since he was one of her own, it was no big deal for her to take care of him. After sending Gu Xiaoyang off, Su Yiyan suddenly heard a system notification in her head. Congratulations on snatching the female protagonist's golden finger progress +5. The current progress is 10%. Please continue to work hard and snatch more golden fingers from the female protagonist as soon as possible to change her fate. Su Yiyan suddenly stopped in her tracks and said in surprise, "It increased by 5% all of a sudden? What happened?" She had worked so hard to do live broadcasts and beat up Hu Xiaofeng in the beginning, but she only managed to increase the progress by 5%. After testing, Ning Chirue, who was an important assistant to the female protagonist in the early stage, has deviated from the main plot and indirectly affected the development of the male and female protagonists in the later stage. Therefore, the progress has increased by 5%. Deviated from the main plot means, Ning Chirue is no longer the female protagonist's assistant. Just now, he blacklisted the female protagonist after talking to her. Blacklisted? Other than someone who had completely seen Wen Jingping's true colors, Su Yiyan could not think of any other reason that would make this former bootlicker voluntarily blacklist the main character. It was not in vain that I spent so much effort to treat him. At least he realized that he was wrong. Otherwise, no matter how good I am, I can't cure his brain. After sighing, Su Yiyan was in a good mood and hummed a tune as she entered the house. She was not the only one who was in a good mood. Hua Chenhuan looked at the steaming dishes in front of him. At a glance, he could tell that the dishes were prepared according to his taste. He glanced to the side and accurately caught the movements of Yu Zian and the other two's throats. "Does it smell good?" The three of them were stunned and looked at each other stupidly. Yu Zian then replied expectantly, "Yes." Hua Chenhuan nodded solemnly and said, "Yes. Even if it smells good, I won't let you have it. It's all mine." "That's it?" Yu Zian's head was filled with question marks. This was different from what he had imagined. Hua Chenhuan continued to eat under Yu Zian's resentful gaze with a clear conscience. The spicy boiled meat slices had similar ingredients to the spicy boiled fish, but it lacked the freshness of the fish and had the softness of the steamed meat. It was crisp and tender and went well with rice. The mapo tofu crumbled with a single poke. It could only be scooped up with a spoon and swallowed without chewing. Needless to say, the pork ribs had a slightly spicy meat aroma. Paired with the refreshing cucumber, it made people want to swallow their tongues. Lastly, he drank a mouthful of pork trotters soup. The gelatinous substance of the pork trotters had already melted into the soup. It was fragrant and mellow, and the aftertaste was endless. After Hua Chenhuan tasted the food one by one, she seemed to have thought of something. She raised her head and looked at the three of them. "Have you guys eaten yet?" "Yes, what are you eating?" Hua Chenhuan was so talkative today that the few of them were a little overwhelmed. Nutrient solution. Nutrient solution. The food was delivered from Chuanyan Restaurant. Chuanyan Restaurant was a famous high-class restaurant in the city. Yu Zian and Gu Xiaoyang immediately glared at the traitor who ate all the food by herself. Hua Chenhuan asked excitedly, "Is it as good as Yanyan's food?" "No." Only then did Hua Chenhuan reply contentedly, "Okay." He continued to eat. Chapter 165. The three pitiful bachelors had to watch their young master eat delicious food in the middle of the night. Not only were they drooling, but they were also forced to accept the critical hit from the couple. Fortunately, Su Yayan gave Gu Xiaoyang a bottle of peppermint tea before she left. It finally soothed a certain someone's heart that was riddled with holes because of his young master. However, as soon as he took it out, the faint fragrance attracted the attention of the two people beside him. "What's that in your hand?" The sharp-eyed Yu Zian could tell that the subtle fragrance came from the thermos flask in Gu Xiaoyang's hand. Gu Xiaoyang did not hide it. He poured a small cup from the flask and drank it. The coolness of the mint paired with the mellowness of the tea was refreshing. His nose, which had been a little stuffy for the past 2 days, seemed to be much better, just as Su Yiyan said. "This is mint tea. Miss Su gave it to me. She said that it can relieve the discomfort in my nose." Yu Zian and Yu Zian were stunned when they heard Gu Xiaoyang's words. They looked at each other and said, "How did Miss Su know about your nose?" Maybe young master told her? Perhaps it was because she was observant enough to notice it. Anyway, she knew about it and specially prepared this for me. As a qualified Su boaster, Yu Zian stared at the bottle in Gu Xiaoyang's hand. He was touched and envious. "That's great. Our future young madam is really a heartwarming little angel. Not only does she think of young master wholeheartedly, but she also cares about young master's subordinates and makes medicinal cuisine for us. You don't know, but the medicinal cuisine in Miss Su's live streaming room is really priceless now. It's made with freshly cultivated ancient earth herbs. You can't buy it even if you have the money." Yu Zian's eager little eyes were so obvious that it was hard for Gu Xiaoyang to ignore it. After hesitating for a moment, he poured a small cup and handed it to Yu Zian. "Try it." Yu Zian's eyes lit up. He took the half-cup of mint tea and drank it carefully. After he was done, he sighed with satisfaction. It's delicious. Zhou Yanbai was not very interested in the tea. Now that he saw the two of them like this, he was interested and took the initiative to ask, "What about me?" Gu Xiaoyang immediately took 2 steps back with the bottle in his arms. He waved his hand and said in disdain, "Go away, go away. You still have the nerve to say that. We were so busy today that we even drank nutrient solutions for dinner. You, on the other hand, ordered takeout from a high-end restaurant and ate it all by yourself." Yu Zian echoed, "That's right, traitor. If you don't let me drink, I'll tell young master." Think about it. If young master knows that Miss Su specially made a bottle of tea for you, what will the consequences be? Gu Xiaoyang's expression stiffened. Young master is not that stingy. Young master is indeed generous in other aspects, but when it comes to Miss Su, you know. UB*TCH. What they didn't know was that the young master, whom they thought was very stingy, didn't return to his room immediately after dinner. Instead, he sat on the railing on the 2nd floor and looked down at the entire farce below him. Chapter 166. Su Yiyan went upstairs after having dinner with her family. As soon as she entered the house, she received a video call from Hu Chenhuan. Her eyes lit up. "Have you eaten? Do you like the food I made at night? Is there anything you particularly like? I'll make it for you next time." Hu Chenhuan looked into Su Yiyan's sparkling eyes and smiled unconsciously. "They're all delicious. I like them all. It seems that you still don't have enough choices. I'll make something else for you tomorrow." No, we're going to meet tomorrow. I'll make some snacks for you. Do you like sweet things? Sweet? Hu Chenhuan was stunned. He nodded and said, "Yes, I like them. Then I'll make egg tarts and cakes for you tomorrow. I'll also make a bottle of freshly ground soy milk. Soy milk is the warmest in this weather." "Okay." Hu Chenhuan's eyes showed some expectation. Then he asked in a low voice, "Did you prepare tea for Xiaoyang today? You saw it. Are you jealous?" Su Yiyan knew that Hu Chenhuan was a good person, but he was a little jealous. She hurriedly explained, "I saw that he came to get the food alone. It's hard on such a cold day, so I thought I'd help him if I could. To put it bluntly, it's because he's your man that I want to take care of him. If it were someone else, I wouldn't be so carefree." Hu Chenhuan knew what she meant. Just like Gu Xiaoyang, she also knew that she gave him tea because she loved him. In the end, she cared about him. Therefore, when Hu Chenhuan heard them talk about it, he was not angry. Instead, he was more concerned about, "They said you're a little angel." Su Yiyan was slightly stunned. She smiled faintly and said, "I'm not." "You are. Even if I am, I'm only your little angel. Moreover, it's only if you're here. As long as you're here, I'm a little angel. If you're gone, an angel will also degenerate into a demon. Just like you after I passed away in my previous life, you lost your warmth, and in order to take revenge, you didn't hesitate to make the world your enemy." Su Yiyan knew that Hu Chenhuan could appear fearless in front of everyone except for her. He was worried that he would hurt her and be unworthy of her. Su Yiyan wanted to tell him that no one in this world was better than him, that no one was more worthy of her. However, it was useless to talk about this kind of thing. She hoped that she could use her actions to tell him these things and make him feel at ease. Hu Chenhuan seemed to have noticed this as well. The expression on her face gradually softened. "Previously, you said that your grandfather wanted to meet me. I'm free these few days. All right, I'll ask Grandpa tomorrow to arrange a time for a family gathering." Hu Chenhuan was warmed by the words, family. He agreed without thinking, "Okay." Dun Dun, who was standing guard not far from Hu Chenhuan, seemed to have heard these 3 words. It ran over and barked at Su Yiyan. "Dun Dun? What's wrong with it? It's probably complaining that we haven't brought it to see its little fiancé for a long time. When Dun Dun heard this, it immediately barked twice in excitement. Obviously, it agreed with this statement very much. Su Yiyen then remembered that during this period of time, she had to take over the entertainment company's affairs and live stream to help her family recuperate. She had forgotten to ask how Ling Xiaoqi was doing. Chapter 167. Poor Zai Zai thought that this matter was over, but when it was suddenly mentioned again, it immediately exploded. It roared at its owner with all its might, resolutely refusing to do this inhumane thing. Su Yiyen was amused by her dog's emotional and sorrowful barking. After laughing for a while, she said compassionately, "Oh, I forgot. If you get a vasectomy now, even if Hua Hua is willing, you won't have the chance to make it give birth to a puppy for you. So forget it." Woof! Dun Dun's last bark was sorrowful. Coupled with its sad little eyes, those who didn't know would think that they were abusing dogs. Cough, literally abusing dogs. Okay, I'll ask about your mother-in-law's recent situation first. In 2 days, I'll take you to see the love of your dreams. You'd better behave yourself these few days. Don't always cause trouble. Otherwise, I won't take you, okay? Dun Dun barked again. It obediently lay on the table and looked at her with eager eyes, as if to say, "I'm good, you have to keep your promise." Su Yiyen really couldn't do anything about this clown. She turned to Hua Chenhuan and said, "Take good care of our Zai Zai. See you tomorrow." See you tomorrow. The next day, Su Yiyen got up early to prepare the snacks that she had promised to make for Hua Chenhuan the day before. The egg tart liquid was not complicated. She just had to mix it according to the ratio. The real difficulty was making the egg tart skin. The process was particularly complicated and time-consuming. Aunt Li was already used to her young mistress running to the kitchen for no reason. She would always make some dishes that she had never seen before, but they were extremely fragrant. At first, Aunt Li was a little worried that her master's cooking skills were so good that she would lose her job. Later, she saw that the masters of the house didn't mention this matter much. Usually, when Su Yiyen didn't cook, they would all eat the food she made. She gradually felt relieved. When she saw Su Yiyen walking around in the kitchen as if she was looking for something, she couldn't help but ask, "Young mistress, are you looking for something? Do we have a mixer at home?" Yes. It's just that I don't usually use it. It's all in the corner. I'll find it for you." The family usually ate stir-fried vegetables, so this blender really didn't have much use. It was only occasionally used to make juice, so it was no wonder that it was thrown in a corner and couldn't be found. "Miss, are you going to make juice today?" Aunt Li asked curiously as she moved the blender out. "No, I want to make some egg tarts and cakes." Egg tarts and cake? It was another dish she had never heard of. As if seeing Aunt Li's surprise, Su Yiyen smiled and said, "I'll make more in a while and let you all have a taste." Okay. Then I'll go out first. If Miss needs any help, just call me. Most chefs didn't like to be watched by others when they were cooking. Aunt Li was tactful and left first. Yes. After sending Aunt Li away, Su Yiyen found some flour with high and low gluten. After spending nearly an hour, she finally made dozens of egg tarts. After that, she put the egg mixture in and baked it in the oven for more than 10 minutes. After putting the egg tarts in the oven, Su Yiyen began to make small cakes. The cake base was easy to make, but after the cream was made, Su Yiyen tried to draw a cartoon version of herself and Hua Chenhuan on the cake for a while. She found that it was a little difficult, and the finished product wasn't particularly good-looking. Chapter 168. The sweet aroma of egg tarts and cakes was quite strong, especially when they were baked. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that the aroma wafted 10 miles away. The men, on the other hand, weren't particularly interested in sweets. Although they felt that the aroma was really fragrant, they didn't show any shameful expressions of desire. Qing Shuqin and Qin Shueru weren't as calm as them. They followed the aroma all the way to the kitchen and asked eagerly, "Yan Yan, what delicious food are you making now? Why is it so fragrant? Is it ready?" Okay, these are egg tarts. Eat them while they're hot. The egg tarts won't be crispy when they're cold. As for the cake, I left a big one for you. I'll bring it out later. Qing Shuqin took the plate of egg tarts from Su Yiyan and happily followed Qin Shueru out. As soon as she walked out of the kitchen, she couldn't help but take one and stuff it into her mouth with a look of enjoyment. It's delicious. If I knew that Yan Yan had talent in this area, I would have let him learn it earlier. Even if you say that, you have to be willing to do it. But Yan Yan's food is really delicious. Not only have I not continued to lose weight these days, I've gained a lot of weight. If this goes on, I won't bear to go back. Then don't go back so quickly. Stay for a few more days. There's nothing to do anyway. It's not a bad thing to let Yan Yan nourish your body more. Qin Shueru subconsciously touched her stomach and smiled. She didn't say anything else. Su Yiyan spread cream on the big cake. After she finished painting it, she asked Aunt Li to bring it out. She asked her to help distribute the remaining egg tarts to some of the old servants who had worked in the house for a long time. She carefully put the egg tarts and the only small cake into a paper box and packed it. Then, she took the boiled hot soy milk and went out. As soon as she walked out of the small kitchen, she ran into her grandfather. "Are you going to see that kid from the family, Hua?" "Yes." "Humph." Old Master Cheng snorted. After expressing his dissatisfaction, he got down to business. "I've done what you asked me to do." "Thank you, Grandpa." I knew Grandpa was the best. As long as you make a move, there is nothing you can't do. Old Master Cheng felt smug from the compliment, but his face was still taut as he sternly said, "Don't flatter me. Have you really decided to hand over this matter to the Research Institute? You have to know that these things will bring you great benefits if you take them out. No matter how great the benefits are, it's useless if you don't have the life to enjoy them. This was never what I wanted. It's fine to give it to the Research Institute. At least they can help me withstand some external pressure. Moreover, didn't you also fight for some convenience for me? Just in terms of the price, I have enough right to decide and share. With this alone, I think I won't have to worry about food and clothing for the rest of my life even if I don't take the family's money." Whether it was money or reputation, neither was the most important thing to her. To put it bluntly, she had chosen to let her grandfather hand those things over to the Research Institute because she hoped that the Research Institute would owe her grandfather a favor and seek protection for herself. If something like her previous life happened again in the future, at least someone would stand up and protect her family. Not everyone in this world was selfish, and not everyone was selfless. When the things you want to do inevitably touch the interests of some people, the only way to prevent yourself from being hurt is to let the people's long-term interests coexist with you. You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.